What I'm not clear of about is at what point in this story does blind faith from the post office in their IT system turn to something more sinister, where people are just not telling the truth.
Do you think there's anything more you could have or should have done to challenge what the post office was saying?
Of course, I wish I had done more to question these responses. But I believe if I had, and I've thought about this quite a lot, I believe if I had, I'd have got the same response from the post office in terms of these 2 points about their faith in the system, it's robust, there's no evidence it's wrong, and so on, and a reference to court judgments that they were saying in the letter. And the reason I believe that is because they were saying these things for quite a long time after I left office as well.
So this is a letter from James Arbuthnot, now Lord Arbuthnot, to Lord Mandelson, who was then Secretary of State, on the 3rd of November 2009, saying you evidence that this was passed to you. Now, is this a case where, again, you would have received it with a proposed response?
Yes, and this one is more unusual because the response is signed by me. It's not referred to the post office to reply directly to Mr. Arbuthnot. That might be because, Mr. Arbuthnot, as he was then, Lord Arbuthnot now, has written to the Secretary of State rather than to me. It might be something like that. But in both this case and the others, even if the reply is signed by me, and I signed one to Jackie Smith as well, the information in it is still all coming from post office because the department has no independent source of information about matters concerning individual sub-postmasters. The only people who have the information are the post office themselves. This letter would have been treated in the same way as the others, where it was referred to the post office who had the information to respond to the allegations within it. And in every case, they are insisting, in response to our requests, that the system is robust, that it's been proven in court, and there's no evidence to suggest there's anything wrong with it. That's what they say in response to Jackie Smith, to Brian Binley, and in effect to Lord Arbuthnot.
With mounting or increased number of allegations being raised, more MPs becoming involved, and calls for independent investigation, why did you continue to rely on what the post office was telling you?
I think the emphatic nature of their response and their faith in the system, their use of court judgments to back that up. They were a trusted brand in the country, and they were the ones running the system. And over again, they said the system's robust, it's fit for purpose, and it's been proven in court. And that's throughout my time what they said in response to each of these queries and letters that we're going through.
Paragraph 39 of your statement, we don't need to bring it up. You say that you believe you met senior management at Royal Mail and Post Office every few months.
Yes.
And you say that you periodically met the Managing Director of Post Office, Alan Cook.
That's correct.
Did you discuss any of these allegations or Post Office's response to them at the time?
If I did, there'd have to be a record of that in the department. I've not seen a record of that, but we did meet from time to time. So I cannot say for certain that I raised these things with, it would have been Alan Cook, probably not Adam Crozier, that would have been different issues. But if I did, there should be a record of that in the department at the time.
This is an email from Alan Cook on the 15th of October 2009. The inquiry has seen it before. It's to internal people within the Post Office. There's no suggestion that you would have seen this at the time. It says, second paragraph down, for some strange reason, there is a steadily building nervousness about the accuracy of the Horizon system, and the press are on it as well now. It is the more strange in that the system has been stable and reliable for many years now, and there is absolutely no logical reason why these fears should now develop. My instincts tell that in a recession, subbies with their hands in the till choose to blame the technology when they are found to be short of cash. Do you have any recollection of Mr. Cook expressing those views to you?
No, I never, I saw this, I think it was published by this inquiry some weeks ago. I saw it in detail for the first time on Monday. I think it's shocking. And, you know, revealing about the instincts inside the post office at the time. But I never heard senior post office people say that at the time. And when I looked at the replies to Brian Binley or to the other MPs, you know, I've taken at face value their faith in the robustness of the system. But I think perhaps I shouldn't opine on things I haven't seen or had no involvement with, but I think it's a revealing email.
That can come down, thank you. We've looked at your response to James Arbuthnot, Lord Arbuthnot, sorry. Lord Arbuthnot gave evidence to this inquiry on the 10th of April of this year. And in respect of that response, he said that he was frustrated and annoyed. And in setting out his reasons for being annoyed, he said, because I'd wanted what had seemed to me to be something that was potentially an injustice to be sorted out, and since the government owned the post office, I assumed that the government would be in a position to sort it out, but they were saying, no, not me, Gov. He went on to say that the government was refusing to take the responsibilities that go with ownership. Would you accept or reject that criticism?
I understand why he's angry, given what happened. And, you know, he's right to be, but the legislation of the Postal Services Act made a clear difference between operational running and overall ownership. This is a separation that was legislated for by design. It wasn't a policy decision of mine or of any other later minister. It was legislated for by design. And what that set up was a structure that when inquiries came in or queries raised or questions asked from individual MPs about sub-postmasters or the operation of the Horizon system, that it would be referred to the post office for response, either directly or to get the information for a departmental response, because they were the ones who had the information. We didn't have a separate source or a store of information in the department about that. And my reflection on this after all these years is clearly those responses were wrong. The evidence being used in the court to prosecute the sub-postmasters has turned out to be wrong and was proven to be wrong in the cases that overturned these judgments many years later. What I'm not clear of about is at what point in this story does blind faith from the post office in their IT system turn to something more sinister, where people are just not telling the truth. Now, I don't know at what point that happens, but I'm sure it's something the inquiry will want to get to the bottom of.